What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, it's not gonna be about Guild War, it's not gonna be about Siege, it's not gonna be about RTA, not specifically about those things. We're gonna talk about the upcoming balance patch, which should be coming in a week-ish. We should be getting balance patch notes in about a week. So I want to talk about some units that I think should be on it. Now, this is not going to be what I think will be on the patch. This will be what I want to see, okay? Because some of these units will probably not be there because it's too early to change them again based on Comto standards, but I do think they need a change, okay? I'm not gonna go like through a whole box like we usually do on these videos. I will just pick a couple most important units that I want to see on the patch, and yeah, we're just gonna talk about them, what I think they should get, what I think should be taken away from them, stuff like that. But yeah, first of all, I want to talk about the newly buffed Marsha, which it's been causing a lot of problems for people in after the buff in RTA mostly. It's been the unit with the highest pick rate, about 70% pick rate at the moment in RTA, which is, I don't know if I've ever seen a unit with that kind of a pick rate. Yeah, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. They added immunity to the passive, which now makes her have 3 passives in 1 passive. She gets immunity, she has the attack bar thing where she gets 50% less decrease from the decreased attack bar skills, and she also is getting 15% speed for every decreased attack bar from the enemy skills up to 5 times, 75% speed on 223 base speed. That's a lot of speed. That's a lot of speed. 3 passives is in 1 is pretty insane. And this is one of the units I don't think will be on the patch, but it's probably the one I want to see the most. And I want to just see something taken away from the passive, either the attack bar thing or the speed thing. She can keep the immunity because I think that was a pretty good buff to her, but one of these 2 things probably has to go to balance her out a little bit better, because at the moment she just feels like she takes too many turns. She's not easy to CC, she's not easy to counter in any way, you know? She just works in every draft against every draft, okay? So she is one of the best RT units at the moment. That is the reason why, and she's kind of easy to use, not gonna lie. She is kind of average when it comes to ruining it up. It's not too hard, it's not too easy either, because it needs to be on crit damage. Now the base stats are absolutely insane, which help a lot with the reruning. 123 base speed, super easy to speed tune. Yeah, just the top of my list when it comes to some changes that need to be done. Now, I don't think nerfing this by removing like one of these 2 things will, you know, it's gonna be a nice nerf to balance it out. I don't want to kill the unit at all. I love the buff that they did, but as long as they remove one of these 2 things, I think she's gonna be much more well-rounded unit. But yeah, that's what I think about Marsha. Now, the second unit I want to touch on, of course, we're gonna go to the Wind family. Dominik. Now, Dominik is a tough one. okay? Dominik is a tough one. You guys know when they buffed Dominik, they gave him 300 on this here, and now they nerfed it to 200. He has an HP lead, which is also pretty huge. He just does insane amounts of damage. I don't think he is as hard to deal with as Marsha. He doesn't have that kind of a defensive mechanism in him. He does have some defensive things, like the sustain, the self-sustain, the attack bar increase is also very nice. The decrease into increase, you know, it's pretty nice. But overall, the main problem is the damage and just being able to get out of tough situations with you know, one bonus move, one proc. It seals the deal a lot of times. It's a super strong unit. Now, I'm not 100% sure what I want to see nerfed on this guy. Maybe drop it to 150. That might be the you know, I feel like the only thing you can do about him is just nerf the damage a little bit more. Dropping it to 150, still gonna make him used a lot because it's raw damage. And with additionals, since he's gonna be hitting 3 times with this and this together, and this one even more, ends up being 4 times, it's always going to pack a lot of damage, you know? Even if you nerf it to 150%, it's still going to be a lot of damage, but it might be necessary to lower it a little bit more. I think 150 would bring him to where he's supposed to be, I guess. I want to just see it. You know, if it's a bad nerf, change it again. But I want to see another slight change on him to make him a little bit more balanced. Yeah, I don't have that much to say against, I mean, with Dominik. That's kind of it. That's kind of it. Just a little damage nerf should make him pretty balanced. Now another unit, another wind unit that I want to talk about. Of course, Oliver is still a problem. They nerfed him once. The nerf was completely wrong. They decided to nerf his skills instead of his speed lead. As I said on my last video, pre-balance patch, the speed lead needs to be changed in order to balance this unit. They went for the skill 3 nerf, right? They went for the nerf to give him more cooldown, I guess. So it makes him less consistent, but he is still pretty good, mostly because of the speed lead, you know? He's less consistent, but not inconsistent enough for you to not pick it, you know? So I feel like all they had to do was either make it a 24 lead or completely remove the speed lead. If they decide to actually touch his speed lead, now I don't think this will happen, because knowing Comtuous for all these years, I don't think this will happen, okay? I want to see it, but I don't think it's happening. If they nerf this to 24, I think they need to bring back the cooldown of this to the way it was, because I don't think his skills were ever a problem. I don't think his skills were ever the main problem. It's just being able to pick a 33 lead CC unit that works pretty well. It enables so much that your opponent will never want to speed fight you back. So by first picking Oliver, you're most likely just disabling your opponent's turn 1. So they have to go turn 2 in any case. No one will ever be like, okay, Oliver first pick, I'm gonna return with playing turn 1, you know? I just don't think a lot of people will do that unless they're insanely stacked on Swift Runes to the point where they don't care that much about the leader skill. But that's a that's just a super rare amount of people that can say that, you know. So please, Comtos, if you're listening, try nerfing it to 24 lead global, just like Sierra is. You can leave the skills as they are. They're not the problem, obviously, you know. Try to listen once, and he's gonna be balanced. You will see. There's not gonna be this oppressiveness. There's gonna be more people wanting to play speed fights, you know, because at 24 lead, you know, isn't as strong as a 33. I mean, obviously, because there's not many 33 leads in this game, so you can't compete with it. And the ones that exist, you don't want to pick him. Now, this is what I think will happen to Oliver. Okay, first was what I want to see. Now this is what I think will happen. Naturally, Comtos will probably not listen or not even hear what I had to say, what some of the other people in the community had to say, and they will decide to nerf the skills once again. Nerfing skills once again will make Oliver get closer and closer and closer to Vanessa, to Pisama, which means less picking. People will want to pick him less. It's gonna make him a worse unit. And we don't want to see that, okay? We don't want to see units being unusable. And I feel like Comtos is going to go that route, and they will make his skills so inconsistent that no one will want to pick him. That's what I think will happen. I don't know if it's going to happen in the next patch, but I think that's the route they're going to choose to go with, you know? And that's going to end up in the unit being dead, pretty much. But yeah, that's it for Oliver. The next unit I want to talk about that got buffed, Shizuka. Now this is probably the one that needs the nerf the least, but I'm not sure why they decided to do this. This was a huge buff. It's a buff that makes this skill 2 times better. Okay? It made this skill 2 times better, basically. Shizuka was a great unit before the buff. Shizuka is kind of insane now with the buff. So the way they could nerf this is either revert the buff completely, or they could maybe do something like 2 turn only for immunity, and the other buffs are 1 turn. Something like that. You know, because 2 turn immunity is kind of cool, but the other buffs stay 1 turn. You know? That would probably balance it out to the way it should be. But 2 turn on all buffs is insane. It's insane. Being able to just... It's crazy. It made her much crazier than it actually should be, you know? Yeah, that's what I think. I think skill 1 is pretty cool. Skill 2 is pretty cool as well. I mean, it's not a long cooldown either. It's a pretty good skill. HP lead as well. I mean, come on. Just a great unit overall. But I think they went a little bit too far with the 3rd skill. That's all. Now, that's kind of it. I wanted to talk about those 4 mostly. There's some other units that would be nice if they could nerf them. You know, like a lot of people talk about oracles. Skill 1 is too strong. It is. But then I would have to go through all the units and stuff like that. When it comes to buffs, there's a couple units, like especially the ones that got released recently, like this one, you know, that could use some kind of a touch. Maybe even the fire girl here, a tiny touch maybe. This guy is still not seeing a lot of use, could use a little touch, I guess. You know, there's a couple that could use some more of a touch, you know. But I just wanted to mention those most important units that I want to see in the patch. But to be honest, the only one that we might see on the patch is gonna be Oliver, realistically. I'm not sure if we're gonna see Dominik or Marsha or Shizuka. I think because they got nerfed / buffed in the last patch. I mean, Oliver got nerfed too. But I feel like I just have this feeling about Oliver that he might be the priority for condos for some reason. But yeah, that's kind of it. I'm not gonna go too detailed into other units, stuff like that. I just want to point out the most important ones. I hope you guys, you know, hope you guys agree with what I said. The point of buffing, nerfing is not to kill units. We want to balance them out to a point where they're all usable and they're all, you know, units that you want to pick in certain situations, you know. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what else do you think should get buffed, nerfed. I might make another video about this to go a little bit more detailed into other units. Let me know if you want to see that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.